And welcome back, guys, to Two Guys, One Cup. I'm Bert. He's Ernie. And this is episode two. Yeah, episode two. And yeah, let's see where this little thing takes us. Cool, cool. So what are we talking about? The EPL, right?
EPL, Premier League,
Right, right,
and we're
right.
talking about the weekend of March 30 and 31st.
Right, right, right. So this past weekend's games here for hours.
Let's
So
jump in.
yeah, let's
Let's
jump
jump in.
into this Saturday's this last weekend's
Saturday the
game.
30th,
Yeah, yeah,
March
yeah.
30th, 2024.
Yeah, yeah. So first game was Newcastle West Ham.
Mm-hmm.
I caught at least about 60 to 70 minutes of the game. It was really good. I would say West Ham literally threw that game. They had it. They were winning 3-1 and they lost 4-3 at the end. Fair fair to Newcastle obviously for playing really really well.
Yeah.
But I would say Newcastle also I think have so much on their plate. They started the league off pretty decent, I would say, but uh, I think the amount of games they were playing, it
Just kind of
is
killed
too
them
much. Yeah, because
for this new structure that they're trying to build, I guess.
I would say the for the quality of players they have, because it doesn't matter if they are the team that are sitting in 20th or they are in first place, right? All these players, they are professional. They are good players, right?
Yeah,
But
but it's
obviously,
it's
some
been a
players
while
stand up.
since it's been in this kind of territory though, with
No,
these
no,
so many
no,
games.
no, no. But that's not where I'm going though.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is, it doesn't matter, right? Like yes, people may say like, oh, player so and so is a shit player, right? Like he's a bad player, but I'm pretty sure like if like I can say, oh, Tottenham is a shit team, right? I can say,
Easy, easy.
I can say, oh, James Madison is a horrible player, but at the end of the day, if I want to be one him, he's gonna fucking work me easy, easy, hands down. So when I'm, the point I'm trying to make here is that they're all good players, right? Even though West Ham lost, they have amazing players. Even though other teams lose week in week out, they have great players. But I just think Newcastle's downfall this season, and I don't want to say downfall because that's a like harsh way of putting it. I would say their their luck ended when they had, I believe it was Champions League, and then they had what was it, FA Cup, then they had the English League Cup, and then they had obviously the Premier League. So it was a lot of fixtures for the amount of players that they had, for the type of player quality, the type of quality player they had. They have that. Um, they're not built, I would say, or they're not used to playing, you know, 3 games in a week, or two
Absolutely.
games in a
That's what I
week.
was mentioning. Like they're new to this territory of different types of games.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
but
now,
yeah.
do you continue with Eddie Howe?
Oh yeah, 100%. Ever since Eddie Howe was in, who was it? The Cherries, which was I think he came. I think he was at Bournemouth, whatever you want to call it. I'm pretty sure he was there first before he went to Newcastle. I'm just, my brain is old, but I'm pretty sure that's where he was first. But I liked him when he was there because I thought he, for the size, again, for the quality of players he had, he was doing a very 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 good job at managing his players, at using every every inch of uh, of movement of the player he had, using every bit and piece of player he had in his chessboard. He used it well. So I think he's a future England coach for sure. 100%. They have to go with him because he is a smart man.
Hmm. Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. So win for Newcastle, bummer for West Ham. But was it a missed opportunity for West Ham, or just outplayed in general?
I think it's a little bit of both, right? I think they dropped points for sure because they had 3-1. It's we've seen it before where teams come back, they draw. Some of them win, sure, but I would say West Ham dropped 2 point or 3 points. They dropped 3 points. It showed that they are not up to the task to play a full calendar year and have. I think they're playing in the Europa League as well. So it's not really, you know, um, it sucks, right? Because you want to see teams like that, mid-table teams like that, progress further, right? Because they have an amazing fan base. So I don't know. I think it sucks for the whole, in general, West Ham in general, but it is what it is, and I do believe David Moyes has his days numbered at West Ham.
You think so?
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%, yeah, yeah, 100%.
All right. Next game, Bournemouth versus Everton, 2-1. Everton lose.
Everton is a tragedy. I'm not gonna lie. They have such an amazing fan base. When I was over there in Europe, I've always had the itch to go to the stadium because um, Everton, I don't know, their stadium is really old school, right? It's an old stadium,
Yeah.
and I don't know. I always wanted just to see it, being how because it's so basically over there, like the front row seats, I would say you're like at level with the field, sort of. So it looks really really cool, and they're really close to the field. And they're one of very few stadiums that still exist nowadays, right?
Yeah.
That are like that, because little by little, which I don't have a problem with, everything is being modernized. Um, but I think this year in general, they've had a really really bad year. They got deducted points.
Which,
I think
yeah, it was a
twice.
big,
I
big
think
hit.
I think it was twice. Um, I think it's not fair to punish teams like that. I mean, what they did was wrong, yeah, but I believe they should teams like Man City that they have. I think it was like over 110, 113. What is it like? I don't know, like,
Rules breached.
yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah, they that they have to go to court for. I think that should take more of an urgency because it's the amount, right? That of, let's call them rules, right? The amount of rules they broke or breaches that they had, and I don't think it's fair to teams like Nottingham Forest or Everton that they both got hit with it. So I don't know. I think they should, if they do come after City and Manchester City happens to lose, it would really set a standard for not only the league but in general, just football around the world. Like, hey, like,
Make a statement.
yeah, and I
Yeah.
think they should really do it. So they ended up, the Everton ended up losing 2-1. I didn't really catch the game because I thought it was going to be a boring game, but
So here's the main question:
right,
do you see Everton relegating?
relegating. I don't know,
They're
man.
just 3 points away.
I, I don't know, man. Everton have been so lucky before in the past where they you know where they just don't get relegated by like a sheer luck of a different
Personally, I
schedule.
don't see them relegating because they do have the squad to maintain,
Okay,
but they sometimes show up, sometimes they don't. It's tough to call.
right.
All right. So next game, Chelsea versus Burnley.
This was
That
a
was a draw.
this was a very painful
2-2.
game to watch. This was a very painful game to watch. And for those listening, I'm a Chelsea fan. I've been a
Ugh.
Chelsea supporter since right literally 2001, a little bit before the Roman Abramovich era. So downfalls, like the team playing like crap, is nothing new to me. Uh, the highs have been really high and the lows have been extremely low, especially this year
Cry me a
with
river. God,
Graham Potter coming in, which I think was a horrible idea. Buying literally almost every single thing they can find off fucking Brighton, which I think was a horrible idea. Bringing in a Tottenham fan as a coach, I think was the horrible idea. He has no technical knowledge. He's very very hard headed. He, for some reason, he thinks Raheem Sterling is an amazing player, and I don't know it. I can go on for days of how bad the team is playing and how bad the the the
Yo, Chelsea,
the
wrap it up.
the picks
I'm gonna start.
he
I'm gonna start playing the Oscars music to wrap it up.
no by the
Nobody
time
cares about Chelsea.
by the time he just the amount of players he uses, the formation. He doesn't make any changes, and when he does, he makes the most ridiculous and idiotic changes. Um, but yeah, I can't wait to see him leave. I will not, oh, look what happened to Arsenal. They gave it time and look what happened. No, no, Arsenal is a shit team through and through. Rigo, that's for you. Go. You can say honestly, in all fairness, freaking good for Burnley. Burnley stood their ground. They played amazing. Chelsea bottled. They threw. Chelsea was it's horrible year. But Burnley, good for Burnley. Honestly.
Just to wrap it up on the Chelsea Burnley game, do you start seeing an identity in Chelsea or not yet?
An identity? No. It's good. See, you wouldn't understand because you're a Tottenham fan. You don't know what it is to see your team.
Can you see where Chelsea's trying to go? Like, do you see a plan?
I think they should. I think these American owners, these Dodger owners, should get the F. Actually, what? No, I'm gonna say, get the fuck out of fucking of the sport in general. That's why in France, they're trying. I think they bought, or they are in the process of buying Strasbourg, and the fans don't want them because they've seen how shit they're doing with Chelsea. And in all fairness, yeah. So no, there's no identity. There's no identity crisis. And yes, they have a ton of players that are injured. I get it. But they keep on investing in these young players. And I understand that it's the future. But they also need to have experienced players on the field to show these young players, the ropes kind of thing. But moving on. Nottingham Forest, Crystal Palace. I didn't see it. It's probably a boring game.
1-1. It seems kind of pretty evened out.
Yeah.
For the teams. All right, so that wraps it up for Nottingham Forest versus Crystal Palace, 1-1. Then we got Sheffield United versus Fulham.
That was a great game.
3-3.
That was an amazing game. So Fulham, they played their hearts out. Sheffield United played their hearts out. It was an amazing, amazing game. Muniz scored an overhead. It was kind of like an overhead. It was mostly like an overhead kick goal at the end in the dying minutes. It was beautiful. It was amazing. And honestly, if anybody listening did not catch at least the highlights, you should. It was a really, really good game. And it shows why I would say this is a perfect example of why the Premier League is one of the best, because of mid to low table teams, giving a top tier performance. That's what it was.
Cool. Then we got next Tottenham 2, Luton 1. I watched that game, of course. Come on, you Spurs. So basically, it was a little suffer to win. Luton has been showing signs of of danger up front when they attack.
Right.
But you can tell that the lack of experience in the Premier League is hurting them.
Yeah.
And it feels like they're just maybe 2-3 players away from having a team that's fit for the Premier League, because you can tell the inexperience up front, but they're always giving their best.
Right.
So they were giving Tottenham a headache, even though Tottenham eventually ended up dominating the game. That's another team that requires a little bit of help up front too. Right. You can tell that there's one striker missing up front.
Right.
Even though Tottenham dominated the game, most of it, they still had their scares.
Right.
Luton still scored, and overall it was an average, somewhat entertaining game, and right. Tottenham took it, luckily.
Right.
So
I think Tottenham need a whole new backline, a whole new goalkeeper, a forward that is actually scoring goals, not Richarlison. He is so bad. He is literally he's a bad player.
But see, I can't hate him, because the fact that I'm a Tottenham fan does not apply here, because the only reason I give him a pass is because you can see the effort that he puts. That's the only reason.
Effort but that we need so far, though.
That they need another striker that is more consistent. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm all for it.
They need a midfielder that's good too, like an actual number 10, because Maddison is not a number 10. He is not a number 10. He can be your free kick, guy. He can be your penalty guy, or he can be that left midfielder, right midfielder that kind of supports the actual number 10. But they need a number 10. They need a box to box player. He is not a box to box player. That's what they need. They need like a Cesc Fabregas. That's what they need.
Shut up.
Look at hate what you want. Look at listen, say what you say, but the man is a genius. He was probably one of the slowest players in the league, but where it counts was in his brain, and he's a genius. That man's gonna. I hope that he becomes an amazing coach one day. All right, moving on to Villa Wolves. Didn't catch that game either.
I watched it. It seemed like Wolves pretty much shot themselves on the foot. A lot of mistakes in the back. A lot of players not following their mark.
Right.
And you have Aston Villa just taking advantage of that.
Right.
And with a team that like Aston Villa that's fighting for top four,
right,
you can't be doing that. So right. They got punished 2-0 Aston Villa.
Okay. Brentford United. I watched that. It was pretty entertaining. It was kind of like back and forth, I would say.
1-1.
Yeah, it was entertaining. United scored, I believe, like almost in the 90th, and then Brentford scored past the 90th.
Yep.
And it was pretty good because United were literally celebrating the win, like if they already had it in the bag. And this is why I love the league. This is why I love the sport in general, right? Because it's like even towards the last second, you could bottle it. Especially in the Premier League, you can bottle it and you can lose all 3 points or lose or drop 2 points, kind of thing. But good, good on Brentford for keeping the fight going, and United. Well, to honestly, I don't see him doing anything important, especially with the system they have right now, the players they have right now. I think they for sure need time, but the coach they currently have, the defensive line they currently have is not good enough. But moving on, Liverpool Brighton
2-1 Liverpool. And you got Mo Salah rescuing Liverpool.
I saw that goal, and it was luck. It was. I mean, he was there, right place, right time.
Right time.
Yeah, but sucks for Brighton because they really, really did a good job trying to pull a rabbit out of the hat, as they say.
It kind of seems like Liverpool has been having games like that where they're just lucky to win it, lately.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say luck, right? I would say that's kind of the winner. I don't want to say winner mentality, but that's kind of like the winner, like that proves that they want to win, right? Because when what was it? 2003, 2002, 2002, somewhere around there. Was it 99, 2000, somewhere around there, when Arsenal had what they call the perfect league. That they are the only team. They are the only team to actually do it. But towards the end, I think it was mostly towards the end, they drew like 6-7 games in a row.
Yeah.
And they protected the score line. So I don't know. I think it's
so it's more the experience than the
luck. Exactly. But yeah, and the last game of the weekend, it was Man City Arsenal.
Mm-hmm. Supposed to have sparks, supposed to have all this shine, top.
If anybody listening watched it, just give your opinion in the comments below. To be honest, it was so boring. There was little moments here and there where it was like, oh, like holy shit, something's gonna happen. But no, I think they respected each other a little too much, especially in a game like that. Like, to my mind, when I see Man City Arsenal, I just remember Adebayor scoring and running across the whole field and celebrating in front of the Arsenal fans, like sliding and just with his arms open and just
I remember that.
And that was really, really, really controversial. At least at that
remember
point,
seeing all that stuff flying in the air towards him. Just
exactly. So
that was crazy.
I don't know. That's kind of what I figured. I was gonna, especially because Arteta worked under Pep Guardiola, and I don't know. I just thought, it's gonna be, very controversial. Arsenal is gonna score, or Man City is gonna score, and it's gonna be very, very, hectic. Or there's gonna be a penalty call or something just to make it spicy. But at last it was dead. It was a boring game. Haaland didn't show up. Typical, I guess. When it mostly matters, he doesn't show up.
Do you think he's getting exposed now?
No, I just think it's because he's not used to it. Because it's the amount of games he has to play. That's what I think.
You think so?
100%. because he's one. First of all, one, he's really young, and two, he he's a goal scorer for sure. He's hungry, but I don't know. He's just. I think it's just the amount of games. Yeah, that's my 2 cents on that.
Cool. And that pretty much wraps it up for
And
that
before
week.
before we finish, before we end this, there's one comment. Willie Macias.
Okay.
All right. He said breaks, let them play. That's why they're professional. They get paid thousands of dollars. It's not the same playing with your club and international team. You're right. I agree. They are professional. They get paid hundreds of thousands a week for sure. And it's not the same playing for club as it is for playing for your country. 100%. I agree with you. But you know they're not machines. They even though some of them do get compared with machines, right? That they are out of this world, amazing players, but they are human beings. They do get hurt. Injuries do happen, especially now. You can literally just search it, Google search it, my boy, and you will see that there's more injuries now than there was back then. And tackles, when people were getting tackled, when people were getting were playing back in the like five, even 3 5 years ago, between 3 and 5 years ago, there was less people getting hurt. The game was a little bit, I would say, rougher to play around with. You were able to get away with a little bit more, and now they get injured a lot more because they play more. And yeah, that's. Let me know what you think, Mr. Macias. Let me know what you think, and yeah, that was episode 2.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm Bert. He's Ernie.
All right. Don't forget to subscribe,
And we'll
like,
see you next time.
share,